Greetings, greetings, greetings. Lunchtime, cartoon time. Say hi. Video time, cartoon time, lunchtime. Over here on baby duty, just started. I want to make this video and ramble for a little bit because it's been a while since I made one of these videos. I decided to do it now since I sort of had a time to do it. But yeah, I'm gonna basically talk about this. As the title says, what do you think I should do? I want to talk about this because I've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of messages from people in general asking me what I think they should do in terms of learning a particular language. I can't really tell you what you should do. However, I could give you some suggestions. All right. So it's really up to you what language you find intriguing, or what country, depending on if you decide to go to this country, it's all your decision. But my suggestions, if you're just starting on a language, I will say, okay, if you're in the U.S., that is, I'm gonna speak about those of you who are living in the United States. Definitely look into doing Spanish, Chinese, Mandarin, and Cantonese, Korean, Vietnamese, Thai. What other languages? Japanese, I guess, depending on where you are in the States. But the top three, I would say Spanish, Chinese, and Korean. Hey. Now we all know that in the U.S., Spanish is the second. It's the second spoke. It's like the second most spoken language here. Spanish is everywhere. At least here in my state, when I go to Walmart, if I'm sending money to someone via Western Union, whatever, they're Spanish. You have Spanish written on all those forms. When you go to the ATM machine, Spanish. When you go to, I don't know, when you call certain numbers and maybe the bank or credit card company, they give you these options. They start speaking Spanish. Press 0 for Spanish. Press 1 for Spanish. Spanish is everywhere, so you can't go wrong with learning that language. So definitely look into that. Sure, it's not really a surprise. It's not really a surprise for an American to learn Spanish because it's very common. And I know most of you like to get the reactions. Even I do. I like to get the reactions. But with Spanish, you may not get... Here you go. With Spanish, you may not get that many reactions because it's a common language to learn here. That's fine though. It's still fun to speak with people. It's always fun to speak in a different language. But if you do that Spanish while you're here in the States, you're going to be able to pick it up really quick. Especially if you like to get out and speak with people. You're going to pick it up rapidly. So Latin American Spanish. The Spaniard, though, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to mention this. When you go to get your books for Spanish, you got to keep in mind that there's an actual Spanish spoken in Spain, the Spaniard accent, and the pronunciation is different. Okay, a lot of resources out there. Acimil, even I'm Acimil because they don't even have a Latin American Spanish. Hey, do they? Do they have a Latin? Do I don't know. I don't know if it may, but you'll find a lot of material for the Spaniard accent. It's very common. So just keep in mind when you start to learn Spanish, make sure you're knowing exactly what type of Spanish, what variation you want to learn. Okay? For me, I had no idea about it. I didn't know. I thought Spanish was Spanish. I mean, I know it's quite obvious that in every country there are dialects, there are different variations. But I wasn't really thinking about that. I got teach yourself. And it just said Spanish. Start learning it. And then some people were making comments saying that I was learning the Spaniard or Castilian. And I didn't understand what they meant until I really looked more into it. But definitely look into the type of Spanish that you want to learn. So Spanish everywhere in the States. Too many level up opportunities. Way too many. So go ahead and go with that. Chinese. Chinese, I mean, I can't stress enough. I've said this many times in the past, and I'm going to keep saying it. These people are literally everywhere. Okay, Chinese is such an important language. I mean, the people are everywhere. You could be out in the country and find Chinese people, and you can be anywhere. Literally, you could find some speakers of this language. So definitely take advantage of those opportunities. You don't even have to go to the country. Now I'm not saying that don't go to the country. What I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to go to the country in order to learn a language because the people are everywhere. I mean, if you let's just say you're in a city where there are no foreigners, you can travel to another city. Okay, you can book a hotel. You know, spend like let me see. In 1 month, you could probably do that. I don't know. Do it like one time at the beginning of the month, and then another time at the end of the month, and just go to these different places and level up over the weekend. And then during the month, you can have set up your Skype session and find some natives to practice with them that way. You'll be surprised how much you will learn. So those languages are very, 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 very. I would say they're important because of they're so. I mean, there's just so many different opportunities or many opportunities to practice them. So Spanish, Chinese, but I know many of you will probably go with Spanish first because you may be intimidated by the Chinese language, but it's not really that bad. The characters, you can actually. If you feel intimidated, just learn the pinyin first, and then start to get into the characters. But you don't want to skip the characters. You don't want to leave those out. You don't want to learn a language without being able to read because what's going to happen is once you get to a higher level, you're going to miss out on a lot of things that are written in the language. So, as a beginner, you can focus on pinyin. Do that, and then later on pick up the characters. So yeah, that's what I can suggest. I suggest you learn those languages. Why? Because I'm living in the U.S. and I know how the diversity is, and I had a lot of experience speaking with a lot of people, Chinese in particular, Spanish people, Koreans. There's a lot of Koreans. I mean, they're very like I think the largest. Let's see, what is it? Atlanta. I think Atlanta has the largest population of Koreans. I mean, they call that the Korea of the States. And I couldn't believe it until I went down there for a video game tournament. It's ridiculous down there with the Korean population. So Mandarin, Cantonese, even Spanish, Korean, and Japanese. Like I said, depending on where you are in the States. I mean, there are some Japanese people here in Columbus, but it's not that easy to find them. It's not as easy to find them as it is to find the Chinese people and Koreans. So it's all about the diversity of your area. You want to look into that first. Do a little bit of scouting. I call it scouting. See what I mean, Spanish. You don't even have to do scouting for that. You're going to find some Mexicans or some people from Honduras or come here. From those Spanish-speaking countries, you're gonna find them in your area. They're literally everywhere. But even so, you can still do some scouting and see what foreigners you can find. You may find a large pop. Oh, Hindi! I forgot. How did I forget Hindi? Hindi is another language, another useful language to learn because of the population. 7-Elevens, gas stations. That's where you can find a lot of the native Hindi speakers, and I'm sure you can find some grocery stores in your area as well. So those are the languages that I would suggest. It's very simple. Just do some searching around before starting the language. See what the population is of the Indians, the Chinese, or you may find some Vietnamese people, and then just get started. And just make sure you interact with the people because that's for at least for myself, it's very motivating. It keeps me going. People are always willing to help and always willing to practice with you. So that is it. I just want to ramble on here a little bit. Like I said, it's been a while. Thursday here. I'm just on baby duty feeding the girls. And yes, Woody Woodpecker. Can't get better than that. But anyway, that is it. I'm about to wrap this video up. Continue this. Yeah, but those are my suggestions. So, like I said, I can't tell you I can't tell you what I think you should. I can only just put the suggestions out there because of my experiences. So yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, let me know. That is it. Out of here.